Hello, my name is Cole. This is the fifth video in the oxbow series, and in this video I would like to take a look at how we can combine oxctl, oxbow, and a couple of other tools to get something that I would really like on my system. And what exactly is it that I don't have on a window manager that I wrote myself? Well, I don't have fuzzy finding. So if I take a look at Emacs here, I can find windows, or not windows, I can find files that contain command, window in the file name. I don't have to use a file tree. I can just use fuzzy finding to jump to the exact file I want. I'd love to be able to do the same thing with the windows on my system. Right now, I have to actually search linearly, up and down the stack or directionally to select the windows that I want. I'm also relegated to the current tag instead of all tags on all outputs. So there's a little bit of a gap there. Let's take a look at the tools we have available and how I could possibly get fuzzy finding in Oxbow. Well, the first tool that we can use is oxctl, and there's the window list command. And this is going to list out every window with a lot of different attributes and state and such that we can use for this script or a number of others. And at the top here, you'll see the column title or field, I should say. Let's go ahead and strip some of those away. We'll give the fields flag. I just want the title for this script. That's what I would normally search to find a particular window. In this case, it truncates by default. So we'll expand that. And I've now got a nice clean list of window titles, something that I can make use of. If you're like me, you might reach for something like sed. And I can do sed, and I can strip off the title column, or sorry, yeah, the title header. And there we go. I've just got the window titles. However, there's a little bit of a better solution than using sed. In this case, if we take a look at all the flags we can use for window list, one of those is JSON. So we can get a JSON string of all the windows, all the state. Very useful. If you take a look here, you might notice that this is an array by the last character there. If I go ahead and pipe this into JQ and I unwrap that array, we can see a nicely formatted set of that window data. Awesome. Let's take this one step further. We'll do title. So we just get the title of each window. And then if we add in the -r flag, we, instead of getting strings, we just get the raw window title right here. Perfect. That is like 90% of the way there. The next little bits are going to be SZF. So we actually get some fuzzy finding. Now I can do Arch to get my VM. I can do GIMP. I can do whatever. Let's go ahead and make this into a one-liner. I'm going to do oxctl window focus match. And what we're matching on is the title. That's what we're searching after all. And I can do this, put this in a subshell. And even in this big font, this is a tight little one-liner. I can do Arch, boom. I can do Firefox, boom. Awesome. We are very, very close to exactly what I described, exactly what I'm looking for. Let's go ahead and put this into a little script, nvim window fcf.bash. And I'm using a bash script, but you can feel free to use new shell or Python, whatever it is that you prefer to write your scripts in. I'm gonna put this guy in here. Gonna rip this off. I'm going to stick that into a selection variable. Give that back. Selection. Boom. Okay. I'm also going to add a little guard, which basically is saying, hey, if this selection variable is empty, meaning if I did not make any selection, then don't run this. But if we did make a selection, then do run this. And now if I go ahead and run that script, or actually first I need to make it executable, chmod +x window fcf.bash, and then I run, boom, arch, just like we saw before. So with that, we are on our way to being totally and completely liberated. We can fuzzy search our windows. We're very close to the final form of this script. However, you'll notice that some windows don't actually play nicely. Some windows, their titles aren't valid regular expressions to search for themselves. Take this GIMP title, for example. It's got a bracketed way bar. It's got a dot character. It's not clean data for a regular expression. So what we need is some other stable match. And we can get that by taking a look again at the output for window list. So let's take a look here. Window list, JSON, JQ, and see what else we can use. So if you see here, we've got the identifier, the title, and the app ID. The title, as we saw, isn't going to be useful in a regular expression. The app ID isn't unique, and that leaves us with the identifier. The identifier is unique to every window. It's constant for the time the window comes into being until it goes away. That identifier is going to belong to that particular window. So let's take a look at how we can make that useful. So let's go in here. Let's do a little bit of reformatting of the script. And instead of just printing the title, we're going to print a string containing the identifier. We're going to insert a tab character. And then we're going to print the title. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and run the script now. And we can see now on the left-hand side, we get the identifier. On the right-hand side, we get the title. This is pretty great. However, it's not exact just yet. We're still matching on the title, and we haven't cleaned up the output data. So let's go ahead and fix that first part. We're no longer matching on the title. We're now matching on the identifier. And we need a way to clean up both the data that we're selecting from, the list we see here, but we also need to clean up the output data as well. If we take a look at the FCF man page, and we search for transform, and if I spelled it correctly, transform, we can see that there's a couple of matching entries here. One is this with nth flag that we can give. And what this does is transforms the presentation of each line. And this first example here is actually basically exactly what we need. What it's saying is drop the first field and show every other field. Okay, that's exactly what we need. We don't want the first field. We don't want that identifier, but we do want everything else. And then the next flag that matches here is except nth. And this is going to define which fields to print when a result has been accepted, which is perfect. And in this case, instead of except nth 2, we want except nth 1. So take the first field away when we're um, showing the results. Uh, return the first field once we've accepted a result. So that is what we need. We also are going to need this delimiter flag. In our case, our options are separated by the tab character. So with these three flags, we have basically everything we need to clean up our data. Let's go ahead and add these. Delimiter /t with nth, and the form was 2 dot dot, drop the 1, take the rest, and accept nth 1. Boom. We'll go ahead, we'll rerun this. Now we can see we've got a clean selection set. If I select the GIMP instance, we get an actual match. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, so a little over 10 minutes. We've got a fuzzy finder that is going to match the window we select no matter what, assuming it doesn't close between the time we select it and the time we try to focus it. The last little thing here is actually not related to the script just yet. It's going to be related to what we don't want to select. So by default, it's going to get every window. Every single window on the system is going to be an option for us to pick. However, there are windows like scratch pads, which you can call into and out of existence. And this is something where it's here, it's here. I can bring it wherever I need it. I do not need it in my fuzzy finding results. The other issue is if we bind this to a key so that it spawns as its own window when we want to, search on demand instead of opening a terminal, running this command, etc. That window that we spawn is going to show up as well. And I can prove that with by binding the command. So let's do oxctl bind spawn kitty -e, or actually first, I'll give I'll give title, kitten search, -e, and then the path to the script, window fcf.bash, and I'm going to bind that to super plus slash, so the slash character like I'm searching for something. Okay. Now if I hit super and slash, a window will spawn. You can see that the search title is right here. And obviously that's never going to be something that I want to select because I'm already in it. Why would I want to select this window? And the other one is the scratch pad. If I change the title to something unique like this, and I rerun my command, I can see now I've got kitten search and I've got this scratch pad. We want to get rid of both of these in the search results so that they aren't even an option. All right, let's take a look at how we can do that. Well, for the scratch pad, it might help to look at the window data we get from window list. So if I do JSON JQ and unwrap, we can see a couple of things. And if I scroll all the way up here, we'll see here my kitten scratch window, my scratch pad. You'll see a couple of things in the state. One is this hidden value. Now, hidden is a red herring in this case. It's not the defining characteristic that we want to filter on. Hidden just means that the window is not currently visible. Okay, so I probably am going to want to find windows that are on tags that I'm not on right now, on an output that I'm not on, etc. So hidden is not the defining characteristic. What we do want to filter on is this value stashed. When stashed is true, that means, well, one, it means that it's a scratch pad window, and two, it means that it is not currently visible. So we wanna filter these stashed windows. Okay. And the other one is part of something that we control. So like I gave the title to the search bind, I can give the app ID. In the case of kitten, I can give app ID and I can define it as kitten search, and that's unique. There's not going to be any other window with that app ID on my system, at least. So this is safe to filter on. We can go back into our script and we can tweak our JQ uh, script just a little bit. So we're going to add a selection filter here. Select dot stashed does not equal true, and app ID does not equal kitten search. All right, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And now when I hit my keybind, I don't get my scratch pad, and I also don't get this window itself. All right, 16 minutes, and we basically have exactly what we're looking for. The one little tweak that I would make is, if you'd notice, when I do the search, I just get a tiled window like any other. I can tweak this just a little bit with a window rule. So if I do oxctl window rules add, and I'll clear that, window rules add, we're going to resize the um, search window to 50% of the screen width and 25% of the screen height. We're also going to move the window to we're going to move it to 25% from the left side of the window and 70% from the top. And we're going to match that on app ID, kitten search. Perfect. All right. Now when I run my search, I get a nice little search window at the bottom of my screen, sort of like I would if I was in Emacs. Gosh, what do you call it? I get a like a buffer at the bottom of the screen. Same here. So that's useful for me. If you'd rather it be at the top of the screen, that's perfectly fine too. The point is, I'm happy with this. It took me less than 20 minutes. I hope it gives you guys some inspiration on how you can use the tools available to you if you're using Oxbow. I think there's a lot of tools available to you through oxctl, a lot of other tools that exist to really make your experience your own. And I hope this has just inspired you to go out and explore. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. Love you. Bye bye.